everyone, welcome back to Lathe Woodworking and Laser Engraving. I'm your host, and today we're actually going to be working on a Christmas tree, and I have a log. This actually came from a Christmas tree, so we're actually going to be using this log for our Christmas tree. Yes, I know, it's weird, right? So, I don't know where all my base plates are. I know I have them somewhere in here. I know the one that I usually use for the spindle wasn't very good. It wasn't very good, and I didn't like to use it. But luckily for me, with this one, this is actually a pretty dang good size. And I'm not going to worry too much about actually putting holes in this project, because obviously I'm actually going to leave a chunk of this as a regular base for this piece. So let's just want to make sure that we got a good side. Actually, we'll use this side. Never mind. This side is flatter, or this looks flatter at least. That way or that way. You can see that's kind of cut on an angle. So what I'm going to do to find center, now I don't have a, now I don't have a actual thing to like measure out center, or you can't use a regular angle finder. So I actually got this lovely thing right here. This is made by Lathe Woodworking. It's a YX-1, and this is supposed to help you find a center for a round object. Luckily for me, this is the right size for this. I have some stuff on me. Working with pine can get absolutely gross. So we got a permanent marker here. So all we're going to have to do is I'm actually going to adjust this camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to guess you guys can actually see from up there. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to go here, right? I'm going to just draw a line. Same thing again, this way. Draw a line. I'm just going to do several lines to kind of get a general idea of where center is. So we can kind of, it's right about there. That's where I'm going to guess the center is. Because even though the center is technically here, because that's where it is, that's where the central line is, you can kind of really count the lines here. That's where we want in regards to putting this. So let's get that on. Now I do have a batch of screws here of various sizes. And I don't want to go for long ones here. I want to go for some shorty ones. Not that short. That's too short. But we can do... Alright, I think I'm just going to get a new batch of screws. That's 2 inches. What about... I got this one here. I know I got a bunch of screws here, and not all of them kind of match the same length. Oh, there we go. It's an 1 5/8. So we're going to take the 1 5/8 screw. Just going to screw it on down into there, like I did last time with the other bowl. If you didn't see that video, I either A, didn't post it, or you guys missed it. If I did post it already, you'll see a link or a card or something that you guys can go refer to. All right, so what we got to do is line that up. Try to get it as center as possible. It should be right there. Let me raise this up so it's out of my way. You guys can still see me. Yay. And we're going to take these and just... And we'll do one more, but set of 4 screws instead of the normal 3, like I usually do. Okay. All right. Now there is something I want to do. Just kind of get a frame of reference. So like to this knot, that's how much room I have. So, all right, cool. It's gonna mark it in pencil. Pretty much the no-go line right there. So I can go back and look for it. Then I can clean that off later because it's pencil. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my lathe set up. I'm gonna screw this onto the lathe, and then I'll show you what I have to do from there, because obviously there's gonna be a lot of steps with this. Okay, so now that I kind of got everything set up for my lathe, I'm gonna actually show you guys what I have to do for this specifically. I got an overhead camera, I got a side camera, so that's we're playing around with camera angles. So anyway, so what I'm gonna do, very simple, as what we did last time, or what we do every time with our bowls, or even projects that we use in the lathe, we're going to secure it to the end. Now, luckily for me, I can actually get the tool rest underneath here, right? Which actually saves me some time. Then, of course, we got the final piece. So what I like to do with the end stock, I like to secure it down first, then expand out this piece. Reason being, because then it will force its way into the wood, and then you can actually get make sure you're contacting, which luckily for me, we are contacting better this time. And of course, you got to tighten it up a little bit. Now, the first thing I really got to do with this project is safety. I'm all about safety, and honestly, you have to be safe in regards to anything that you're working with. If it's wood, or if it's wood, or if it's anything else, you just got to be safe when you're conducting yourself. So what I'm going to do is, obviously, I'm going to use my shield like I usually do. Going to use my shield. Going to use my hearing protection. And now, since pine is so, it disperses a lot of resin, I am actually going to use these sleeves. Now, usually I frown upon using sleeves, and the reason why I frown upon it is because if it gets stuck, especially in a turning machine, you can hurt yourself. I've seen several videos where people get like loose clothing stuck in the machine, and they end up hurting themselves. Now, the reason why I'm using these is because when I'm turning the wood here, this pine specifically, it's just going to go everywhere. It's going to go on the camera. It's going to go on me. It's going to go on the window. It's going to go behind me. It's because of the centrifugal force. It's just going to make it fly everywhere. So that's why I'm going to be wearing these sleeves. And these are actually disposable sleeves as well. So this will help catch any of the gunk that's going to get stuck in my arm. And at the same time, if this does get grabbed, this will be obviously ripped off, because this is paper, you know. It's not going to hurt as much as if I'm wearing like a long sleeve shirt. So that's the most important thing for me. Now I'm going to get this lined up. Do that like that. And now the first thing we're going to use is actually this scraper, right? Now this scraper is just a perfectly flat scraper, and all I'm going to do is just try to round this out as best I can so that there's no issue afterwards. So let's get our hearing protection on. Let me get this switched over. Oh, that's another thing. No jewelry, no rings, no nothing. I wouldn't wear any of that while woodworking. So, cell phones off to the side. So, what we're gonna do, shield down. Oh yeah, gloves. Power is on. I'm gonna lower the speed. All right, so I got it pretty much round. It's not completely round. As you can see here, this is actually still not round on this side. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to separate this into two pieces. This side, and then we're going to do another one over here. Because I feel like we got enough room. And plus, if I mess up this side, at least I can get one out of here. So next thing I want to do, usually I kind of cut off the end. In fact, you can see I started doing that right there. But I decided to like leave that there, and all I'm gonna do is after I clean this up, I had to get the pine resin off here. All I'm gonna do is go at it from an angle like so, and then just start making the peaks and just go down. And then when we get to this section down here, I'm gonna make it the trunk. So I'm just gonna carve it out a little bit. Then I'm just, if that all turns out well, I'm gonna sand it down, then chop it off, then we'll go on to the second one. So hopefully we get two out of this. And honestly, necessarily, I could technically move this a little bit down, but this branch is not straight. This is, it's curved slightly. And so it's so I'm not going to do that at all. Okay, let me get that out of the way. So let me put this at an angle. That's going to be the approximate angle. And I'm just going to make sure that I can go up a little further. So what I'm trying to do right now, because originally this was actually set a little too low, this stop. So what I'm trying to do is actually try to line up this scraper along with the center of this punch, so that I know that it's going to be evenly cutting. And that's what you really kind of want. You want it to be evenly cut when you're using a scraper, or at least that's how I feel. I'm not a professional. I didn't really take two like classes on it. I took a wood shop class in high school, and that's about it. So but that's how I feel. That's how I think. You know, I could be entirely wrong. For those who are professionals out there, let me know if I'm wrong or right, or what you guys think. So let me get earmuffs back on, shield down. All right, we just ran into a problem here. The screws came loose. So that means I gotta take this off and re-screw it down. Probably gonna put more screws in this as well, so it doesn't happen again. Okay, so I actually attached 4 more screws that are actually 2 inches long, right, to give us a little bit more purchase while we're doing this. Yep, you're still recording there. All right. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so we got the general shape of the Christmas tree as of right now. It does seem a little weird because we got a large chunk of, base right there. I am going to kind of thin this out quite a bit, but I usually do 3 or 4 tiers depending on what I could do here. This is actually getting really, really flaky up at the top, so I'm very careful about actually cutting up here. So down here is pretty much where I'm going to end, probably halfway here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to form the trunk now. So usually when I do the trunk, I either try to make it flat or I'm trying to curve it just a bit to give you kind of like that tree feel to it. So that's what I'm going to attempt. So I'm just going to kind of go like that, an hourglass shape, to try to get that trunk in place. So and then I'm going to try to like level this out, or I'm going to try to level this out. Hopefully it levels it out by itself, because when I start cutting into this will certainly get to the round point. So we're just going to leave that right there to work with. And now I am going to use this scraper. Actually, yeah, I'm going to use this scraper. Let me just sharpen it real quick. I think the wire's broken here. There we go. Okay. Get the light on. All right, let's try to get that base done now. Okay. I had to do a bit of resizing. Yeah, originally, I was going to do two Christmas trees. But what ended up happening is that, if you can actually see here, I'll probably zoom in from the camera up here. You can kind of see it's like chunking out at the edges, right? And that was because it was right at the end. I'm assuming that because the end was drier than the middle, that it just kept on ripping out. You can even see a little bit right there. So what I'm doing, what I did is I actually resized the obviously. I went further down, and this is where I'm planning to stop at. See this line right here? That is my stop line. That means no-go line for me, because any further would actually will end up seeing screws. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically shape this area out here to be kind of like a trunk, and I like to do kind of like a regular rectangle or square trunk, but I am going to actually try to do it as like an hourglass. So like this, like that. So, and that's where I'm going to do here. And then I'm going to sand this stuff the best I can. So I do have my belt sander here. I don't think my circular, my pneumatic sander will actually fit on here, but I can certainly try. Actually, let's just take a look. I guess that can work. We can try it. This is 120 grit, so I guess we could try it. Actually, what time at night? I might end up holding off on that. You know what? We have time to do that. We have time. So let me grab that, and I'll flip on the compressor while I'm shaping this. So. Okay, I think we're done. Oh. All right, I think we're done with this Christmas tree. It turned out actually fairly nice. I am a little upset about the little clips on here, right? But I don't think there's anything I can do with it. This is really unprocessed wood. This is just a Christmas tree that's grown. That was grown and then obviously used, and so this is the bottom portion of it. I like to like reuse stuff, you know, especially if that would typically get tossed away. So this turned out really, really nice. I'm going to turn off the power to that. Let me clean up a little bit. Ugh. All right, how you doing over here? Still doing good? Low on power. How are you low on power? Oh, are you not plugged in? No, you're plugged in. Huh. There you go. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do now, I am actually gonna do the last final step, or what I would call the last final step, and just coat it in a preserving oil. And the reason why I want to do that is so that to keep it as it is. So I'm just going to leave it on the lathe. And I'm going to use this right here, Minwax Paste Finishing Wax. Here you go. I'm going to use this for the final touch-up. Let me grab some gloves. And I am grabbing a clean rag. Now, in order for me to have sanded this, I had to actually do it at a higher RPM, right? So I'm going to turn the RPM back down so it's low. I'm going to put my face shield on. Ah. Hold on one second. Gonna have to take an air shower in a little bit, in a regular shower too. And then I'm just gonna polish this up. Now I'm gonna move this out of the way as best I can, so because I don't want to get my hand caught. And take some of the polish, start it up, and just lightly coat this. I got like a spot right here. It's not getting the wax. I'm just keep my foot off the pedal. There we go. Make sure I get underneath the lips, which I think we pretty much got. Okay, shear back down. And there we go. I actually like that. That turned out well. There you are. I see you. I see what. All right. Perfect. That is a perfecto. All right, let me turn the power off on that. Now, the last little bit I got to do is basic cleanup. So, hey, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but maybe I'll put it underneath the camera. All this stuff is actually the pine sap from this Christmas tree. In fact, you can still see there's small pockets of pine sap right there. But, alright, truly the last thing I got to do is run the compressor again. And I wanted to see if I can blow off any of the dust that's on the outside here, which I don't think I will be able to. Alright. And I think we're done. Now all I got to do is get this off the lathe. No power? No power. And do-do-do. Okay, yeah, they're still going good. All right, let's get this unscrewed, and it's gonna be done. And here we are. Nice Christmas tree all the way around. Yes, there are some what I call defects, but honestly, feel like with this being a Christmas tree, having little bumps and grooves, that kind of adds to the tree. I did keep some of the original bark in there, which is nice. That stayed on there. It turned out fairly nice. Now I want to sand down this bottom, which should be easy. So I'll just use my pneumatic sander, and that's it. We're done. So I am going to be putting this up on the Etsy store if you guys want it. I think it's going to be maybe $10, maybe 15. Not too sure. Haven't really figured out the pricing for this yet. But yeah, if you guys want one, make sure to check out my Etsy store. I do have other things up on the Etsy store, including that bowl that I made last time. If you haven't seen that episode, or if I haven't posted it yet, I'll make sure to include the link so you guys don't miss out on that. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Have a nice night.